So I think as a collective group of adults, we all kind of reminisce about being a child, and then you grow up and you're like, that was a load of crap. And this kind of proved doubly true for me when at the ripe old age of 19, I decided I was going to join the Navy. So now not only do I have these incredible responsibilities placed on top of me at a way too young of an age, but I've sacrificed a lot of those personal freedoms that, just a few years ago had been so enticing as a child. It's hard to think of a 16-year-old as a child, but So in 2014, I'm living in Hampton Roads, Virginia. I'm 23 years old. I still have hair. And I'm stationed on board the USS Enterprise. Now, for those of you who don't know, the USS Enterprise was not only America's first, but the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Just a true statement and testament to ingenuity and might of the United States. This incredible thing that I got to be a part of. And not only did I get to be a part of this, but I got to bring her home from her final deployment, which was a great honor for something that had been steaming around the world for 60 years, from the early days of the Cold War and all the way through Operation Enduring Freedom. And I got to bring her home for that last time. Not only that, I was one of the lucky souls who, who got to go through a first-of-its-kind decommissioning and defueling of a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, which is something no country had ever done before in the world. And there was no one new coming to the ship at this point, right? She's decommissioned, she's old, she's being put to bed. So they're not sending any new people to the ship. It's just us. We truly were kind of this last few of the last crew. So at this point in 2014, the reactors had been shut down for about a year and a half. And the longer that time went on, the easier our jobs kind of got. We had less maintenance we had to do. We were retiring old equipment, things that we didn't need anymore, we were just getting rid of. So our day-to-day life was actually pretty relaxed. So it's Monday morning, 06:30. We're all crammed at this really small, dark space at the back of this massive ship. It's cold, we're tired, we got a coffee in one hand, a Monster in the other, and we're just kind of waiting at muster for the front office to come down. And they show up and they're like, all right, everybody, it's gonna be a pretty light week. We've got some maintenance on a generator and we've got an inventory of our supply locker to do. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is gonna be a really good week. And then Chief comes up in front of us and he's like, hey guys, I'm trying to get out of here early on Friday, so I'm trying to get you guys out of here early on Friday. And if things go well, we might even beat the flag. Now, beating the flag is something that rarely happened, but it basically means you're going home before the sun comes up, which is, yeah, we're all trying to do that, right? But what you gotta know about Chief is that he's one of those guys who, if he's happy, your life is good. But if he's not happy, you're having a bad day. And he was on a hair trigger. You'd think that being a Cleveland Browns fan would have given him a little more patience in life, but we were kind of on the short end of that yardstick. But knowing that, we're like, okay, let's keep Chief happy, let's have a good week, let's get all our stuff knocked out. So we break up for the day, we go down to our spaces, and it just so happened that the generator that needed maintenance that week was owned by my work center, so no pressure or anything. So we grab up our gear, we go down, we crack it open, we get in there, we do our job, we close it up, and anybody who's done any kind of maintenance knows the last thing you do is a functionality check. Make sure you did everything correctly and everything's still working. So we line up the electric plant and we go to hit the switch on that generator, and what do you know? She purred like a kitten. Chief was gonna be happy. Whew. All right, Monday was done. Tuesday morning, 06:30, coffee, Monster, muster, we're hanging out. But this time, when the front office comes down, it's not the entire front office, it's just one person, no chief. Not a good sign. And he says, all right guys, listen up. Good job with the generator last week or yesterday, but we did the inventory of the maintenance locker and we're missing some things. Not too much, just a few voltmeters and a thermal imager. So when you get down into your plant today, make sure, give a look around, make sure you don't have it down there, get it up to the office, we'll check it back in, no big deal. So we go down our spaces and we're like, hey, we actually really need to find these things, because while he sounded nonchalant about it, these were not cheap pieces of equipment. Those multimeters were $300, $400 a piece, and that thermal imager cost about $10,000 to buy new. And mind you, we're being decommissioned, we're being defueled. We don't have a large budget to be buying brand new maintenance equipment. So we're like, hey, we gotta find these things matter. But you know, our work center, we were squared away, we looked around, we didn't find anything, no big surprise. We go home for the day. Wednesday, 0630, coffee, monster, muster, equipment still missing. Nothing really on the docket for the day. So we decide, hey, let's go look around for these things in one of our other plants and see what we find. And what do you know? Stashed behind a breaker panel is one of the multimeters. We're like, oh, sweet. Take it up to the front office, get it checked in. Chief's gonna be happy. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good here. And Wednesday was done. So again, Thursday morning, 0630, coffee, monster, muster. But this time, when we get the spiel about, hey, you guys got to find this equipment, it's much more stern, it's much more terse. So we're starting to get a little worried. And then they're like, hey, listen, if we don't find this stuff, but if it's not like in the front office by tomorrow morning, you guys can't leave early. We're going to be here for a full work day. So we got to find these things today. And at this point, we're kind of at a loss. We're like, we don't even know where else to look. So we kind of brush it off and we're like, whatever, if we're here for a full work day, we're here for a full work day. We know it's not in our spaces, we know it's not in the other spaces we looked, and we assume everybody else has also done this. So hey, Thursday is done. Friday, 0630, coffee, monster, muster. And then the front office comes down, and at the front is Chief, and he is red with rage. I'm talking Popeye the Sailor just ate a bunch of ghost peppers, steam pouring out of his ears, red with rage. Yeah, we were in for it. I've been chewed out before. I'm okay with that. I can handle it. But nothing in my career up to this point prepared me for the absolute butt chewing that we were about to get. So for the next 10 to 15 minutes, it was just screaming. And Chief was very eloquent. He stringed words together that I had never heard before then, and I've never heard since. It was definitely not repeatable in any kind of civilized situation. But we got the point. But that wasn't the bad part, because when he was done yelling at us, he dropped a real bomb. And he said, no one's going home until we find these things. He chose his words there very, very carefully. It wasn't, you don't go home until the end of the workday. It was, you don't go home until these things are found. And Chief had the power to do that. So we're like, oh no, this is a real problem. So after he leaves, all 80-ish of us electricians get together and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this methodically, we're gonna go through the plants, we're gonna find these things, because we're trying to get out of here. We now know, hey, we're not gonna beat the flag, but that's okay, let's get out of here before the end of the day. So between the 80, 85 of us, we go plant by plant, and these plants are massive. It's 4 floors of thousands of square feet on each floor, full of all kinds of machinery equipment. Pipes so big you can't even wrap your arms around them. Pumps that are taller than you and me stacked on top of each other. It's massive. And we're climbing over these pipes, we're pulling up floor grading. We've been in places no one had probably been for over a decade, and we find absolutely nothing. We're at a loss. We don't know where these things are, and it's only noon. So we split up, we go to our work centers, and we say, all right, let's just cross our fingers and hope that Chief lets us out by 2:30, because that's when we were supposed to go home. After all, he wants to go home, and if we're there, he's there. So we assume he's gonna let us out. Well, 14:30 came, that's 2:30, for those of you who don't work on 24-hour clocks. 14:30 came, 14:30 went, and that's when the panic really started to set in. Because today wasn't just Friday. Today was Friday the 14th of February. It was Valentine's Day. Everybody had made plans based on the fact that we were gonna get out early that day, which, hey, maybe that wasn't a great idea, but most dinner plans weren't until the evening, so that was okay. But we now knew that we weren't gonna find these things, and we were stuck there until we did. So that's when the phone call started. Every husband, every wife, girlfriend, boyfriend started getting calls. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the ship. I don't know when I'm gonna be home. I'm sorry. I can't tell you how many times that day I heard that phrase muttered. I also can't tell you what was said on the other end, but I know it wasn't pleasant. And that's kind of when I realized, oh man, I have to make a phone call of my own. I was in a fortunate situation that my girlfriend / now wife at the time, we were in a long distance relationship, and she was driving down that evening to come see me. So we didn't have plans. We had plans on Saturday. But I had to call her and tell her that, hey, I'm probably not gonna be at home. So I pick up the phone, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of stuck here, no end in sight. You might beat me home. Make yourself at home. I'll see you when I see you. And you know what she did? She laughed at me. She said, damn, that sucks. I'm gonna have some wine. I'll see you when you get there. And then she hung up on me. I was like, oh, what? But I laughed, I smiled, and I was like, wait a second, this is gonna be okay. I can't control that I'm stuck here, but I can control how I react to this. So I gathered up a couple of people who were like me and didn't have plans that night, and I said, guys, we have to do something to make this day less terrible, because we knew we weren't getting out of there in any kind of reasonable time. So we all got together, we pitched in a bunch of money, we ordered close to $350 worth of pizza and wings to the ship, we set up trivia for everybody, and we even held a competition. It was like, hey, everybody go down to your plants, find a whole bunch of stuff, and try to smash it together, and who can make the best knockoff item, so that we can try to pass these off to the front office. Right? We'll make it look good, and we'll try to pass it off. When we handed over a multimeter made out of a pack of brown paper towels that we had drawn a digital meter on, the look on their face was not pleasant. But at that point, we didn't care, right? It wasn't for them, it was for us. And we kept these kind of shenanigans up all night. And when I say all night, I literally mean that, because when we walked off that ship, it was 30 minutes before midnight. Valentine's Day was completely ruined, and there was nothing any of us on that ship could have done about it. And that's what it was about. It was about having the freedom to choose how you react to that situation and making the most of it. And when we walked off that ship that night, we all had a smile on our face and we all laughed. Not because we were happy, but because it was an absolutely absurd situation that we made the most out of. And that's how I try to live my life now. Thank you.